really any way to keep the members of NIP on top of that equalizer once it comes on out. So instead, it's going to have to be about finding these lane advantages and being the ones who show up first. Down the blue buff. Karis took a rough trade in mid. Carrot looks to have committed the shockwave in order to do so. To get that shove in. Guan immediately going to pop the Cataclysm to lock down Yao Yao. Going to stop Monkey from being able to return too much damage. But Yao Yao's got health to spare. He's able to stay alive and walk on out. Shwo takes a ton of poke damage. And there's a bout over the wall. Going to force the flash out. Guan now going to be the next target. He falls for first blood. That gold goes over to a bout. But Awesome going to be able to trade right back. And not stopping there. Monkey has to pop the maximum dosage to get himself out of danger. It's a 1-for-1 trade.
Three is going to be very difficult to win at this stage of the game, and Monkey being able to obviously survive, gain that healing with the ultimate, he will be able to
peek down here. I don't think Monkey's in position to be able to respond, and About is all alone. He's got no support. Dive incoming, gets hit with a polymorph, focus down, and Awesome will close out the kill. Down goes About.
This fight is not over. Here come WE.
Awesome going to be able to dash himself back on away. Monkey pops the maximum dosage.
Oh,
In goes Guan. Karis tries to shuffle him back, but connects onto nobody. The Soldier's whiff. Shockwave doesn't. Pulls back in Karis. Nearly takes down Monkey.
Continue to have a lot of trouble in the side lane here. Karis just going to get a lot of these plates as well. This is where the NIP comp just becomes so dangerous, and Karis is just in trouble.
Yeah, there's the Orianna winning that side of the matchup we were talking about. Monkey focused down too fast. Maximum dosage will not get him out of dodge that time.
He's just a little too far forward and exploitable. It's a nice pickup from NIP. They've really regained full control of this game over the past couple of minutes with some nice plays and some great side laning. Away from that second dragon, WE getting the first. It's really important for them to keep. Karis
connects on that shuffle this time. Care forced to flash away. Nicely done, but here's Guan. Let's see what he has to say about this. He will be able to walk this one out, goes where he pleases, as Mundos are apt to do. 2 versus 1 now. Awesome, trying to kite away, gets hit by the root, has to flash, still goes down. Awesome just takes an inadvisable 1v2 and drops.
It's a really, really big mistake from Awesome there. He expects his team to be a lot quicker than they actually are on the rotation, but Chuo and Guan just cannot get there in time to punish About. And that's even more gold going into the pocket of the Ezreal. And now Guan's in a tough spot in his own jungle. Again, Dragon spawning in just under a minute. Monkey going to continue to pressure out 1v3, and he got it. He's going to walk away with the blue buff.
Very nice. That's a second blue buff in a row taken by Monkey here, successfully controlling 3 buffs around the map. And Guan still up in gold, but down in CS. Those kills.
Set up now around Dragon. We could get a fight very, very quickly here.
He's starting to get chunked out, but there's going to be an engage coming on through. Shockwave combo finds its way into Yao Yao, and Care will be able to finish off the kill. Quick first blood in the fight drawn by NIP, but Monkey not going to back away. Stepping up in towards Guan. Another flag and drag comes through, About able to dodge away from it. Awesome going to mark onto it. Meanwhile, shuffle back onto Care. Not able to finish up the job. Going to be Cube flashing forward to find the Flame Spitter damage, but already Jungler down, and looks like Karis going to be joining him. Nice snipe from About. Will be able to claim the life of Awesome and turn this into a 2-for-3 in NIP's favor.
Yeah, this is a very fight with a nice snipe onto Awesome. Could go a lot worse, but Dragon just going to go down in our picture-in-picture, and NIP will stop this.
Where they drafted to be able to be ahead at this stage. About trying to fend them off now. Get Monkey on towards this Rift Herald. Guan not going to be able to get his way in, and Karis found a shuffle back onto Care, and very well might be able to take him out. Sure does. Solo kill to Karis.
And that is the Karis that we've been seeing so far in 2026. He picks up the solo kill, and we're going to see that Rift Herald dropped onto the top side. This is going to be a lot of gold going into the pocket of this year, but About
face checks into Awesome and Shwo, and does not win that battle. Another kill over to Awesome.
Yeah, it's one kill on one side of the map for another earlier, but now NIP charging down the mid lane tier 1. They're going to be able to get this very, very easily, open up the map a bit more.
Camps away from Guan, but Guan already finishing off the birds. Hoya TP's in. He's cut off from the rest of his squad. Is he tanky enough to survive the full brunt of WE? Looks like he is. Gets chunked to about half. Monkey going to take very similar damage as Awesome approaches him. out looking for some of this poke. Shuo going to blow the heal to get a little bit of movement speed and get himself out of danger. And it's an ARAM. There's going to be the engage with the Cataclysm. Equalizer layer down on top. Monkey channeling the maximum dosage, pulled back in by the Shockwave, but no follow-up. Monkey stays alive, and no bodies will hit the floor as a result of this fight. About and Cube trying to find some of that additional poke. Monkey already back to a pretty decent health total as Hoya gonna brawl with him.
That's the value of the Dr. Mundo right there. You can full engage onto this champion, but it's almost impossible to burst him down unless you have so much damage, and at this point in the game, they just don't have it quite yet. That's a big cooldown burned here for NIP. No Cataclysm for the next couple of minutes, and there are some pretty major things coming up. Of course, you've got Baron spawning on the map, but 45...
Couple of autos from Awesome for his troubles, and he will be taken just a little bit lower, still not in too much danger as they kite back towards the Dragon. Hoya and Guan up in the front line, going to start to work on a Monkey who pops the maximum dosage. Damage coming in on a Hoya. There was the Equalizer thrown on out as well. Chunks out Care. Double Shockwave in with the Cataclysm. Kara's staying alive, finally shovels them back, but will fall on down. But look at Cube. He's melted them with the Flame Spitter. Gets tons of damage back before he's forced out of the play. About staying alive. Flag and drag towards him. Needs to stand and fight. Can only claim back one before Care and Guan will finish him off through Yao Yao's shielding, and now Yao Yao, the last one alive, will have to surrender this Dragon. Additional sustain up against the poke damage of this Ezreal Karma.
Could prove important if this is going to be the game-deciding fight.
Stepping up here, Hoya behind enemy lines. Nobody sees him. He's going to be able to find the flank. About already shifted, has to flash back to the other side of the Cassante. Harris going to be able to sneak away as well, but Monkey getting focused down. Does pop the maximum dosage, is standing for the time being. Equalizer has come and gone. Didn't accomplish too much. All 5 members of WE find themselves still standing underneath this crafted Sun Disc. But how are they going to be able to keep the fight going if they think that they're favored? Just throwing out a little bit of poke damage here, but NIP, they got in, they didn't find the fight they wanted, and now they get to choose where it goes from here. Good chunk damage found into Yao Yao and About. Awesome up in the front line, once again chunking Monkey out low, and this time there's no maximum dosage to get that health bar back up. NIP control the river, and they won't let WE in.
No ult for Mundo means hard fight. NIP want to continue this exchange as long as possible.
And Monkey cut off here, going to have to flash back over the wall to avoid the damage from Awesome. And this guy is exactly as his name would imply. Nobody can step up here for WE. He melts through the sole frontliner too quickly and basically ends the fight on his own without any bodies hitting the floor.
Get some tempo in, because I was just talking about it. Vision is so important, but NIP say, we don't care about your river vision. We want some pressure on the mid lane here as they're going to shove this wave in, and now it's going to be in a decently scary spot.
First TPing, mid-wave still does matter, K-Man, and the NIP, fully cognizant of this, will maintain control over it. Equalizer comes on through, does cut off that choke. Yuan tries to scoot away, but will get melted down by Karis, as that's one kill already over to the side of WE. Can they keep this fight going? No, they're going to have to let those go. Catch and release here for WE without that follow-up engage, but they have inside track on the towers, and they know they have a numbers advantage if NIP try to fight them.
NIP pincer themselves in that exchange. Guan just goes a bit too deep trying to chase About, and actually gets poked out a lot. And the moment that that TP comes in from the Azir, it becomes a very difficult exchange. Baron is started. There is no jungler on the map right now for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
20 seconds to go. I mean, this is a tough ask to try to walk in through the Azir and the Ezreal. Baron falling lower and lower. Hoya actually flashes in here looking for the big stun. Smite comes through. Monkey secures the Baron for WE. Hoya now in deep up against 5 members of WE, and he will be joining the dead. About claims the... There's no CC tools to make the Equalizer work, so Cube has to make the map work for him. Finds the opportunity there as Guan only has one path out, forces him to waste the flag and drag, and Karis is able to finish him off on that end. Now, hard pushing in mid, nobody in NIP in position to respond. They take inner turret and inhibitor turret. They're going to take the inhibitor as well. Care still hasn't gotten back. The base is cracked open. WE has spawning supers in mid. They got an inner turret in bottom as well, and they're going to take the gold lead even further.
This is huge. Teleport's coming in. Dragon is on the map. NIP still are on Soul Point, but they have to win, and they have to win now.
Gotta do it again here, WE. Engage coming on through. A little bit late from Cube, but he does arrive to the scene. Throws out the equalizer. Gets some good damage onto the team. Shuffle back from Karis, but it costs him his life. Into the GA goes Guwon. Comes back out on the other side. Hoya low. Guwon at about half. Awesome trying to push back 4 members of WE. And no Azir to dish out the damage. Monkey still trying to frontline. Throwing out some of these both cases. There's going to be a big shockwave on towards 3. About Yao Yao incredibly low. Cube trying to deal the damage. True Shot Barrage comes on across, knocks down a couple of members of NIP, but they're still standing and they're still fighting. Hoya up at the front line, looks for the third cast of Antofo strikes, but can't pull anybody back in, and About still at a safe distance away. The health bars are getting lower and lower. The poke is coming on through. About getting harassed. There's the Dragon Soul. It's secured for the side of NIP. Can they get the clap back from WE? Still shots raining on through from About, but NIP stay together. They stay joined. Guwon engages onto About able to keep himself standing for just a little bit longer, and it's going to be Monkey get the last laugh here, unless Guwon can scoot himself out to safety. NIP, they don't lose any members other than their carry, but they get the Dragon Soul.
Oh, it is such a tight fight on both. Get that dragon, but back onto live. WE do not want to let that Ocean Soul matter. They want to try and push down on the top side and end the game early.
Dragon Soul so rough here as About still looks to try to find this harass on the Ezreal. The additional regen, especially on the likes of Hoya, to make it so difficult to deal any kind of damage to this guy unless you're fully focusing him down in a teamfight context. They will be able to claim the last inner turret.
Karis on the bot side, catching that bot wave. Things are coming down. About could be caught out here. He is going to be able to get over the wall with that arcane shift, but Monkey could be the next target.
Cataclysm comes out. They just want to hold this Mundo coil as much as they can, be able to try to finish him off. Shockwave comes on out, pulls him back in. Maximum dosage is ticking away, but the damage is ticking faster. Monkey trying to run away will finally be finished off by Hoya. No jungler for W. The Baron is getting worked on here. They know that there's not going to be too much support available for the time being. No Mundo on the board means this should be easy pickings. And down goes the Baron to the likes of NIP, just as Monkey present themselves. As Paris has to be careful here. There's 3 members of NIP right in front of him. And
wait, once he gets here.
Absolutely do. So coming back from base is going to be potential outnumbered situation for NIP for a short period of time, but now Care just about in range will be able to get on over here. Hoya just soaking up this damage like it's nothing. Monkey doing his best to try to get some harassment onto Guwon, at the very least stacking up his heart steal. No engage found yet for NIP. They are the ones who get to decide when this fight starts in earnest. Hoya takes another set of harassment in the mid lane, goes down to about half. He'll be able to regen back up with his Ocean Soul over time. About doing his best to try to keep this top laner low. Monkey coming in on the flank at about half HP. No engage yet. Guwon just going to pop that Cataclysm.
Equalizer's huge.
Equalizer on top of it. Good damage on Care and Shuo, who are going to be forced to back on away. And Monkey still sitting pretty at about full health. Now trying to keep that fight going. Awesome going to step on up towards Monkey. Starts to pump out all of the autos he's got to knock Monkey to about half HP. And the rest of WE are forced to retreat. The cooldowns are starting to affect him here, and they are getting chunked lower and lower as this fight continues on. There's going to be the Sun Disc thrown down behind them, but they are already working with their minion wave on towards this mid inhibitor turret. NIP get behind them. WE looking to get this fight started, looking to try to cut off NIP and see what they can possibly do to pick somebody off, but they stay together, and once again they are able to create themselves an outward path.
Yeah, they are able to survive what is a very precarious situation. Both of these teams playing on a knife's edge right now, but it's NIP who walk out with all the advantages. Teleport coming in. The fight could happen right now. Monkey staring up.
Hoya going to look for the engage right off the bat of the TP, is just stepping forward, looking to stun anybody he can find. Maybe it'll be Monkey. Monkey able to space it on out, but Hoya's just so tanky. He absorbs About and Karis' damage all day long. WE now with the inside track towards mid. They're going to see if they can take an inhibitor of their own, but they can't get out of here. It's a flash shockwave. Hoya not able to find Karis as he does manage to stasis it, does manage to push them back outside of the Cataclysm, and Karis stays alive, popping Guwon's Guardian Angel once again, but nobody going to fall from NIP. Guwon is escorted out to safety. Care stays alive as well. WE cannot claim the kills. the Ocean Soul and continually coming back in for more. About trying to find somebody who these continued Mystic shots will deal some damage to, but Guan and Hoya have been intercepting them all fight long. Monkey now isolated by Awesome. Gonna get chunked down very, very low. They need to buy Monkey the time he needs to be able to rejoin the health back up, and NIP are not slowing down. Ocean Soul at their back means they can keep this fight chugging.
Cube on the flank, Cube on the flank. You gotta watch out for this Rumble, and Equalizer could turn things around. They have the healing, but we saw what it could do in the last fight.
To wait for NIP to commit so that the Equalizer can still have its maximum value, or they can just throw it on out right here. NIP going to back on away. Hoya cut off from the rest of the team a little bit. Monkey still sitting here at low HP totals, but it's still a pretty good amount. Karis is knocked up. He's isolated, and Awesome will claim that kill. That could be the opportunity NIP have been waiting for to be able to step up into this Elder. Big True Shot barrage comes on through. Yao Yao pulled back in by the Shockwave, and Awesome popping off in the fight will finally be taken down. About claims himself a double kill. Hoya fighting with Cube on the opposite side, and it's Hoya who's going lower and lower, but Shuo showing up for the backup. Cube still able to take down his top lane counterpart. Monkey able to secure the Elder Dragon. How has WE managed to finagle a way out of this? True Shot Barrage goes wide, but Monkey is able to interrupt Care's recall, executes him with the Elder Dragon, and About is on a solo mission towards the Nexus.
He's looking to end the game. He doesn't care about the way that things have been set up. It was Ezreal or bust, and the Ezreal is coming through as he marches down the Nexus solo and ends this game for WE.
They can't keep getting away with it, K-Man. How do WE win these games down such ridiculous amounts of gold? About finds...
Yeah, I like both of these drafts a lot more than game number one. It feels a lot more even here. It's clear that NIP want to be playmakers on the map, and that's really the bit of tempo advantage. You're not quite level 6, but Monkey's going to have to spend some time. Better. If this doesn't work, it could be catastrophic.
You heard the farm alarm there, going to pop over the bullet. Time is Awesome to try to clear out the wave, but the dive comes through regardless. Dragon spawning here in just a few seconds, so looking to see some focus around mid and bot. Over the wall comes Guan. Monkey waiting for him, going to pull the trigger right away. Guan's got a flashback away. Now Zhuo's in too deep, trying to kite his way out, but stunned by the concussive blows and finished off by Karis. Cease and assist comes through onto Monkey. They're going to try to make this a 1-for-1 trade. Karis doing his best to rain through the damage, gets weirding across two, but Karis is able to find the execution, gets a reset on towards his Spirit Rush as he continues to step forward, trying to finish off Yao Yao. Good flash from Karis, gets out of the range of that charm.
Win, I should say, before the teleport coming in from the top side here. Cube is here.
Cube wants this, stepping on forward. Dragon is still alive. Charm connects on a Yao Yao as he's just one shot. Bout flashes the wall and finishes off Guan though. Now Zhuo starting to fall low. Cube tanky enough to stay in this fight for a while, but now the other top laner's in there, and About got hit by a charm from Care. Hoya finishes off Monkey. NIP coming out the better in this
brawl. Going to be pretty difficult to deal with in the late game if he continues to build more aggressive like this, but you land that combo onto the right one, not the clone, but the actual correct Wukong, and things could get pretty dangerous pretty fast around these neutral objectives.
First onto the squishies, really going to need to make sure that that counts for something here, as you can see the trade-off and how quickly Monkey falls down in these fights. Hoya going to be the next target here. He's in a 1 versus 3. I don't think he's getting himself out of here without too much trouble, but look at the damage he's dealing back to Monkey.
Quite some time. You can see the vision control on the bot side really gets set up for this, but NIP want to answer.
Hoya stepping forward, and again, the damage he does to the Monkey on this squishy build is just crazy. Monkey going for the Trinity Force after the Profane Hydra here, by the way. There's an engage from Zhuo, comes through the Magnet Storm, gets it onto Monkey, cease and desist as well, and Guan will take down his jungle counterpart.
Yeah, he is not the king of the jungle here today. Guan looking very, very good in the early game. Still down in gold individually because of some of the assists on the side of Monkey, some of the tower plates.
But he's maybe a little too late. They're now scrambling to try to get back to this dragon in time, but it's melted down pretty fast. Yao Yao fending off Zhuo. Hoya comes in on the side, now looking for the team fight. Monkey going to pop the Cyclone right away. Gets himself away from Hoya, who is now being escorted away, but still does have this pinch to try to make the fight happen. WE stay grouped up together, stay close, stay threatening, and they will get away successfully, having secured the dragon. But Care going to not be able to find too much. Yao Yao's thrown into the pit. Now he's stuck waiting for a pathway out. Monkey gonna give it to him. And NIP, they just can't find a spot to pull the trigger.
Yeah, they need to pull the trigger here because they're losing so much.
Well, they end up with it onto Cube. He does come through with the Soul Furnace, but 4 members is just a little too much damage for a 20-minute in Scion. Cube will eventually fall on down. That's all they're really going to get for it. About doing his best to clear out this wave, finds good damage onto Awesome, and will keep this mid lane turret standing for the time being as the rest of WE
they want to go
back him up. Glacial Fissure connects on a Care. He loses half his HP, but Karis doesn't want to commit between worlds.
A very chaotic fight as we continue to see the push down onto this mid lane tier 1. It's a very definitely going to feel pretty lucky, but WE going to continue to pressure out. Baron has spawned on the map. We are sitting at around 22 minutes into the game. Yao Yao's too far forward, though.
Does manage to flash away. Magnet Storm gets used. Glacial Fissure comes through onto 2. Sees an assist into the back line. It's onto About, but About just flashes back and is perfectly safe. Hoya shows up, but he's in a 1 versus 5. Stunned up by the concussive blows immediately and taken down by Monkey. WE get 2 for 0.
A hugely ill-advised fight from NIP to take in the way that they did. Care was already half health heading into it, and WE had full setup. Not only are they going to have priority around the Baron here, which they will, although we're seeing some NIP pressure.
Flashes away from the charm of Care, and that's going to hose the engage attempt from NIP. Cube just kind of ults in place to be menacing, and it was Dragon yet again. Looking like NIP going to have trouble getting onto their soul point.
Yeah, they really need to be able to fight this out. Karis is the target.
Karis too far up. Stealth doesn't get him out. Hoya TP's in. Now Hoya might be up too far. Can they melt him down in time? No, they cannot, but they get him low enough that he can't participate in the fight. Care with still 2 casts of Spirit Rush, but they expire. And now up in the front line, Cube willing to keep on going. If they can keep About safe, they can still do a fight like this. Rocket starting to connect, chunking out Shuo. Hoya flashes forward, gets on a Monkey, but Monkey spinning across the wall, melts down in a second, can't get the second cast off of the Cyclone, but Cube and About dishing out maybe enough damage to turn it back, but absolutely not. Hoya spinning through him with the Call the Meeks will call down WE. NIP find themselves an ace.
It's the top side of Ninja to look very, very good in these late exchanges, and it just feels like we're throwing back and forth forever.
Oh, About found by Hoya, nowhere to go. Hoya gets a solo kill as he catches out the Corki in transition, and Care does the same to Monkey. WE picked apart at the seams as NIP get
They are finally generating a lead for themselves, and NIP are the ones clawing their way back into this game with the Vi Ahri duo. They want to try and get this tower, but
man, knock Cube rushing forward, and Karis says, I can win this fight on my own. He's going to be able to take down Awesome. Next up on the menu is Shuo. No way to get back over the wall. Soon to be going down for a double, and in a 3 versus 4.
Hoya fully committal, and they're going to look for one here with the TP for Hoya.
I mean, Yao Yao and Cube are in between Hoya and anybody important.
Oh, Guwan's just dead.
Deep behind enemy lines. In the Baron pit, forced to flash, gets away at 1 HP, but Cube says, hey, I'll take those odds. They manage to get the slow on towards Awesome, and About will claim his life. Hoya's TP turns out to be for a split push, but the Baron is the target for WE.
And the Baron will be their prize unless something happens here. Guwan is back. He's not quite full health. There could be steal potential, but this is going to be very, very tough for NIP.
Yeah, I mean, mid-inhibitor turret is getting slammed on a bit here, but it does mean Guwan is going to have to try to go for a miracle steal. Karis finds him, and Guwan is forced to retreat. Monkey's not in the pit. Monkey is chasing into the jungle camps. He's going to start getting hit by Guwan. He's just going to force them out alongside Karis, and they're going to say, all right, guys, you take the Baron without me.
These first 2 games, Gordo, have been absolutely unbelievable. Is still a major problem. We have to make sure they're not overly aggressive.
I don't know what you're talking about here, K-Man. They claim the Baron, and they go down 1.5k, exactly as you would expect. Cube stepping up here, going to try to make sure that this soul doesn't end up going on through. Monkey probably going to have to end up 50-50ing this unless he can take out Guwan. Guwan looking for the engage, dives in the back line. About's already been able to take down Care. It is going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Marksman for marksman. Karis goes into the stasis, trying to be able to finish off Awesome. He will be dropped on the opposite side, but Monkey is getting focused down. Trades one more down. down, but Hoya and Guan will stay standing, and it's only Cube left alive. This is gonna be soul for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Jungler and top lane are more than enough to work their way through the Baron as they claim a second ace.
It's a huge fight for
him in transit again. This time about's got Yao Yao and Monkey right near him. Shuo on the move over. They walk into Guan. They will. The flash engage gets onto him with the cease and desist. About still staying alive for the time being, but he will drop. Monkey's Cyclone, not enough to save his marksman. Karis arrives, but it is too little and too late. Doesn't find the between worlds onto anybody, and that is gonna be game number 2. NIP will send us to game 3 off another pick onto the marksman.
Secret Agent Guan ends up stepping up in a massive moment. He finds the engage. The team follows up beautifully. And NIP are bringing us to yet another game number 3. They're addicted to going the distance, and they will get another shot at a series win here tonight.
LPL have been from Cube, and he's going to try to perform on it again here. Monkey taking the MS into the jungle, and there's that Renata duoed with the Callista that we have come to expect. Level 6 for these junglers especially to be able to truly have the full burst combo. Karis
Hoya's coming down.
Actually going to be the target here. Yeah, Hoya on his way. We do have Monkey here for the additional disruption. We'll get a couple of swipes in on towards Guan as Karis is able to fall back away. Here's Hoya in there on the Mega Gnar, though. Finds Monkey, who gets up too far, and NIP claim first blood. I do think NIP are going to claim this with ease. Still a few seconds away from the Grubs, too. Does give an opportunity for Guan to make his way on up there if he does decide it's something he wants. He claims 1, but now Guan here to start it on up as the backup of the rest of his squad. So yeah, looks like NIP should be able to claim themselves 2 of the Grubs at the very least, and in addition to the first Dragon and the gold
and yet he's found ways to make impacts in team fights on this champion with that 100% win rate. For now, it's Monkey looking mid.
Oh, they do get the root, and there's the max range public execution from Monkey.
Back some gold. That 1.5k gold lead cut down by about 1,000.
Nicely done there, and getting the rise rolling. So
Ooh,
good
the knockup.
Double knockup, flash pulverized from Yao Yao. Flash away, but it's too late. Awesome drops in the 2 versus 2 on the Callista Renata lane, and About is on the board.
They're not done here. They're looking for Zhuo under tower.
There's no way they're able to clean this up, but Yao Yao is just tanking it up with the unbreakable will.
NIP that's going to get priority on this Dragon, at least for now on this setup. It doesn't look like it's going to be contested all that much, but definitely not a bad game state for WWE. A free access point. She can still do a ton of damage, even at level 10 at this point in the fight. And Hoya definitely still a threat to watch out for. So much so that WE don't want the smoke. They want to get out of here. They're willing to cede this over to NIP. We've seen some passive gameplay out of WE. When they pull the trigger, they pull it correctly, but doesn't seem like they want to take too much right now.
And Karis actually realm warped his way down. It's a bit of an awkward fight for WE, and they aren't going to engage any further. So on the hunt blown, not much else. Hoya coming in for the engage. About going to have to flash away from the Gnar. Here comes Guan. About in the middle of no man's land, but he does manage to stay alive. Finally, Hoya going to flash over the wall, going to be able to finish off the kill, but Guan incredibly low. Cube all over Hoya, continues to chase him down, and the ghouls are just plucking away at that tiny Gnar health bar. Cube will finish off the kill, and despite About being picked off, it's a 2-for-1 fight win for WE.
NIP burned everything at the start of that fight to try and get those priority targets down. They're able to kill About, but it takes everything in their kit to do so. The Kiana ultimate at the start.
Both of About's kills are still from that 2-on-2 double kill. And it was all started off by Yao Yao being able to find the angle. Now another angle
engage
found by Monkey. Gets a public execution on a Guan, takes him to about half HP, gets Frame Display Talented into the wall. Hoya on the bottom side, they're going to be able to finish him off. Realm Warp is in, but it's too little and it's too late. About a million miles away, finally going to step back up here, starts to throw some boomerangs into Zhuo, who is about to fall down, gets sent to the handshake, but will the execution come on through? No, it will not. Bailout does not proc. Second kill comes on through, but it is Cube who drops down to the opposite side. It's 2-for-2 so far. Awesome, throws himself into the fight. Petrifying gaze across the team. Care firing away into About, and it's another ace found by NIP.
Lead too big to throw. NIP find the perfect fight with Monkey going way too deep in the jungle, feeling like he can execute Gwan, but Gwan's tanky enough to survive. He at least has enough health to be able to live the combo. We see this engage. It looks good at the start, but look at your minimap.
Soul point, and WE say, fine, we'll let you. Taking the inside track towards mid, and it looks like NIP have fully committed here on towards the Dragon. Maiden going to do her best to try to fend them away. They have sight on all of them, and they're not going to really get much done out of the mid lane tower. Certainly is. One more from that Infernal Soul. Does have his Infinity Edge done. He could still be a massive damage threat in these fights. As a Monkey gonna get caught out again. Supreme display of talent into the wall. Hoya claims the kill credit. Cube able to escape with the flash. Avoids getting gnarred back into his own wall. But that is another nice pick made. They're gonna try to get on Hoya here. Hoya's gonna be able to flash back away as Yao Yao stays on top of him. He will shift back into mid.
On the board, no jungler available for WE.
Get on towards the big purple worm. Varus arrives. It's like fish in a barrel for him to fire away onto. He will get taunted on up. And
oh,
it's
no way!
stolen by a bout! Are you kidding me? A boomerang takes the Baron, but what about the follow-up fight? Karis getting jumped onto, going to fire away and get a kill right back. About booking it back towards his base, trying to get out of here with the Baron buff in tow, and he will do so. NIP, another unforced error, loses them the most unlikely.
It'll only be about who is able to push those waves, but it is a Sivir with Baron buff, so the push is very real as they take down this tier 2 in the mid lane. They're gonna try and get as much as they can out of this. They're still at a...
WE.
Yeah, they are going to pressure this out as fast as they possibly can. NIP are walking in blind.
Stepping up in towards Guan. Handshake going to take it back away. Public execution goes wide. Supreme display of talent lands onto 3, but the follow-up isn't there. Cube TP's in, and here comes Hoya in the middle of the squad. The hostile takeover will be able to create a little bit of space. Hoya's about to go mega.
He's mega.
2 back into the wall. Lands a stun onto 3. The focus damage comes through on a Monkey. Karis sectioned off on the bottom side. Yao Yao doing his best, trying to disrupt this fight. Guan flashes away from one more overload. Karis going to be focused down. He drops as well. 3 members fall for WE. NIP still 5 strong. They're about to claim Dragon Soul.
They look like they are going to pick up the biggest objective they can. Infernal Soul on the map for this team. And once again, it's the solo laners coming
on towards the squishier members of the team, which is basically everybody except for Hoya. He never gets that chance. It's just too dangerous to step up that closely when there's still CC tools available on the likes of Hoya and Shuo. Can't make good on your very strong Sivir, I don't know what chance this WE team has of being able to win out these fights.
That is indeed your biggest problem, is you've got this Sivir with all this gold, but the front to back is so inconsistent. You don't have any ways to set it up. You've drafted a split push comp, and while, again, I know it might not seem obvious on paper, this NIP draft really does want to play front to back. They really do have a lot of tools after the engage to play through this Cassio-Callista combo if they can set it up correctly, and as we saw there, Hoya is on point today. If he can find another engage like that, they're going to be just fine. The dance around Baron has started. Monkey's making his way down, and NIP are going to have control for now.
And it's looking more and more like the same way the first series was drawn up. WE pulled themselves back into the first game, but now not able to close out in game up being the series if they cannot find another miracle. WE trying their best to find an angle in onto this. Shuo gets a little bit locked down. Hoya coming in on the side. He's a wild way away from Mega. Can WE capitalize? Looking for a target to get in onto. The engage tools are not the easiest in the world here. Eyes on Yao Yao, and if he can find a target to headbutt pulverize.
Yeah, you need to find that Alistair engage. If you're the one reacting here, it's going to be on the back foot, and that is not good for WE with the comp that they have assembled. They are fighting blind right now. Absolutely no vision available for WE, and TP coming back in to reset everything.
Yeah, this one is going to be Shuo coming back in, getting another refresh on the wards. Hoya going to return to mini form. That does give a little bit of respite over to WE, knowing that Gnar not going to be able to...
Dangerous setup overall for WE. Teleport coming in from Hoya. They're just starting this. They're going to burn this Baron so fast.
on over. It's a little bit later for Cube. In goes Yao Yao finding the knockup, so they're going to try to just burn down Hoya here. He shoots back to mini form. They're focusing everything they've got into him. A couple more boomerangs would do it. The Baron has fallen, but so has Hoya. They need to get more out of this fight. Monkey looking for the engage opportunity, flashes over the wall, jumps into the team, gets sent into the Guardian Angel. Yao Yao's been melted down as well, and the rest of WE, they need to find the fight. About stepping up, throws the boomerangs into Zhuo, gets a double kill for it. Awesome, gonna be able to get that fight right back, gets sent back into the bailout and will be executed by Cube. A huge team fight from the likes of About will give a one-member number advantage back over to WE.
About is keeping this game alive for WE in a situation that feels impossible for a Sibber to change the fate of this game. He is doing just that. You gotta give a lot of credit to Yao Yao as well, who just continues to buy so much time.
All over him. Oh
my god,
Care jumps back over the wall. He finds himself face to face with Cube. He just speeds up the inevitable, and he's gonna drop 1,000 gold shutdown to Cube.
That's massive. Look at the gold swing.
In this series, every time a team puts themselves in a huge percentage chance to win, the other team cracks right back. WE, Elder at their backs, beginning to siege onto the base off of NIP taking a Baron and losing out on the subsequent team fight. And they're going to be able to get in onto this bot lane inhibitor. They're going to take it down.
Yeah, they are taking down this bot lane inhib. Guan is on the flank, and they don't really have any other wave to move to. See how aggressive WE want to be here. They actually could be relatively trapped. That might be exactly where WE want to be, though.
It certainly should be. All 5 members of WE staying together. Guan deep behind enemy lines, looking for a flank play, looking to reprise his performance from game number 2, where he picked off About and ended the game in an instant. But the rest of WE, they want this game to end right here. Yao Yao gets the engage, finds the knockup onto Care. Monkey's found Guan, and 1 out on the 1 versus 1. But the stun found its way onto About. Petrifying gaze from Care, buying so much time and space. But About stands and fights. The Elder Drake at his back gives him the damage to win out the team fight. Karis is alive. About is alive. WE are alive in the group as they will take down NIP and reverse their fortunes from the first round robin.